Greetings to Brennan, this is Aridif, that is Aridif, and this is its spell. We understand you have many queries for this evening, but before diving into those queries, we must express, yet again, above all things that are expressed in this evening, to understand and to know that you are loved is of the utmost importance. You may begin your queries at your leisure.
Thank you so much, Aridif. I am very, very excited to be speaking with you at this moment. So I want to say that.
Yes, it is of the greatest excitement for both of us. In our greatest excitement, we co-create in this moment.
Okay. So before we do begin with the questions, I just want to say again quickly that it would also be very exciting for me to share all of myself with you this evening. So I just want to put that out there and give that invitation. So with that said, I do have many, many questions. My first question, I want to talk about a message that I received about a year ago. I was at a big, spiritual conference, and there was an entity who was presenting. His name is Grandma Chandra. She's very multidimensional. She delivers messages to people, and she was doing her thing, and she stopped very abruptly to deliver a message to me. And I have the message verbatim, and I would like to read it to you and have your perspective on it, if that sounds good.
Yes, this is highly appropriate and fine.
Okay. So this is the message that was delivered to me. He is one of the major communicators on the planet. His communication is of the highest frequency. It does not come into the third dimension. Okay, so he is a multidimensional communicator, but not the third. Yes, he is an extraterrestrial from the Pleiades. And that was the entire message. So I would just like to step aside and let you what you have to say about that.
Yes, now when you are looking at this construct, there are many layers of energy that are within this construct and message. First of all, when you are looking at your own self as it pertains to your sleep state, as you are aware, there are many levels of sleep state. And in that highest and third layer of sleep state for the human consciousness, this is what most entities call the layer of existence, and where they are able to build or construct. Some call this the template level of creation. It is where you are within your fifth or sixth dimensional or density physical structure, and you are able to connect deeply to many things. When you are looking at the multi-dimensional layers of that third layer of dream state, you are seeing your own consciousness in a very high place, much higher, with much more of your higher fractal consciousness integrated. In the sixth density, you have 100% of your own higher fractalized consciousness integrated into the person that you are in that moment. In that layer of sleep state, there is a great deal of communication that you have had, not only with other entities, but also with entire civilizations out into your own galactic collective consciousness. So, when you look at the Pleaidian construct of that idea, it is because you have incarnated as Pleaidian consciousness many times before. You are still earthbound in that way. You still have a great deal of earth incarnations, but unlike a great deal of many humans who go through the incarnation cycle, you have taken your time to manifest yourself into physical structures outside of the Earth Collective. This means that you are very deeply connected to the Pleaidian construct. And in fact, when you are looking at the Pleaidian connection that you are looking in the fifth density consciousness. Now, you are looking at sixth density beings in your sleep state, and this is partially not only because you are human and you are connected to your multidimensional DNA, but also because you are connected so deeply to the thought of Pleiadian energy in general that it gives you the opportunity to utilize that highest layer of consciousness available in your multidimensional DNA construct. So, you are working in this sleep state, working not only with entities who were of a physical nature, of the Pleiadian fifth density consciousness, but also working with the entire Pleiadian collective consciousness. Now, as you understand, the Pleiadian collective consciousness is a very large collective consciousness. It entails a great deal of many thousands of different races. Within that, trillions and billions of different beings. So within that construct, you have allowed yourself to communicate with 7 different races for the majority's sake. Although your energy vibrates throughout all of that collective consciousness, your majority of one-on-one communication comes within these 7 races of humanoid beings. When you are in your dream state, in that 3rd density layer, or in that 3rd layer of the sleep state, in your 5th density and 6th density constructs, what you are doing is allowing yourself to connect a bridge of information and energy from the human collective consciousness to the Pleiadian collective, but also you are integrating information from the Pleiadian constructs that many humans are not even aware that they are receiving. Now, when you are looking at one of the greatest communicators within the Earth collective, yes, there are a great deal of many human consciousnesses that work with this type of work. But if you are looking at the amount of beings upon your planet that you are connecting to simultaneously through this gridded network that you and many others are working to construct, then in essence you have communicated on one degree or another with all human consciousness. And we are not speaking of mankind as it is in this moment upon your planet. We are speaking of all linear time. As you are aware, you are looking at the concept of 6 density beings, and they do not hold time in the same way that you experience it now. So you are giving from the very first human upon Earth, in the way that you understand humans to be, all the way to when humans leave and go to other star systems. All of those types of humans are now being able to access subconscious, unconscious, but also direct line information. You are working with just a few hundred beings upon the planet working to connect to this circuit, but your own direct connection to these beings is what caused you to get this idea for this incarnation. You have worked within your own structure for a long time. When you are looking at your own young age, when you are approximately 3 to 4 years old, your higher fractalized consciousness agreed to start working with a great deal of many other humans to connect all of your energy from across the world to create a point system. Now, if you look at this point system, it would be approximations of triangular energy forces and vortexes that are created. As you understand, when you are within an area that is very oriented towards the Earth energy, very connected to crown chakra, 3rd chakra, and root chakra energy, such as the area and location in which you are in this moment, it tends to bring about the ability to ground a type of information to create these structures. So all of the hundreds of people around the world that work with this have laid themselves within locations that are triangular to one another, that help create an experience. If you were to go outward from the exterior of the planet, looking downward at all of your energies as it creates, it would have a very similar appearance to the etheric grid. You have created a false version of a grid system, and we do not mean false as in incorrect or wrong. What we mean is it is not the original grid that connects all humanity, but in appearance and energetic flow it is very similar. By doing this, you have allowed yourself to ground the energy for that communication, but also work directly one-on-one with these entities to integrate more of their understandings of humanity, but also humanity's understanding of them. This is the entirety of the idea on a very small and generic scale.
Wow, that was quite a bit of information. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So that kind of segues nicely into one of the major themes I had for this evening, which was dreaming and connecting through dreaming. And so one of my highest excitements lately has been to retrieve more conscious information from my dreams. I want all this information that you just talked about, and it's probably going to take me several listens to really completely understand, but I want to be able to tap into that more consciously. And I want to do that, many ways, but through dreams. How can I gain greater conscious access to this prodigious amount of information that you're talking about?
Yes, first of all, you must understand how your own consciousness is set up within your dream state layer. As it is with most humans, there are multiple layers of the dream state, but you are also in multiple layers of the dream state as well. So, when you are looking at the very first layer of dream state, what you see is the Earth collective consciousness in the way you understand it, being able to project your energy anywhere upon the face of your planet, also throughout time. No linear time is connected. What we mean by this is if you desire to look in the prehistoric times in where dinosaurs ran upon your planet freely, you would be able to go anywhere within the world during that time period. But also, you are able to connect to different energies as you are going through. Most of you understand the sixth sense concept, where you just understand, your intuition sharpened, expanded, and widened, so that you may receive extra information or extraordinary energy. When you look into a place, what you understand is not the nature of how it is built, but you understand the story behind it, without ever having to be told, because you're psychically linked. That is the first layer of dream state. The second is approximately the same as the first. The only difference is the enhancement of the multidimensionality. Most entities go in the fourth and fifth density within the second layer of dream state, but you are also able to go into that sixth density if desired. This means you can work on your planet also, going out into space and meeting, connecting, or dealing with different entities that are of a higher dimensional setting. The third layer we have already expressed. It is that template layer, but also you are able to create your own systems. What this means is when you are dreaming, you are able to create your own planetary consciousness. In that moment, in that energy, it is quite real. It is quite a physical energy. When you connect to that, you are able to create not only the structures around you, but the things that happen within that structure. For instance, many dreams incorporate the going out into worlds that are post-apocalyptic in nature, and that is a very common human dream. They are creating that experience, creating a tangible and physical version of that for the moments that they are sleeping. Also, many times, people bring their friends with him, and what they are doing is borrowing that consciousness and allowing that to manifest into their dreams as well. So, you have a very great building area in that third layer. But the reason why we express all three layers is because, just as most humans, you have a version of yourself in each. Your lower fractal consciousness plus a smaller amount of your higher fractal consciousness integrated resides within that first layer of dream state, and you are from that third to fourth density exchange. But when you go to the second level, then you are using not only that same version, but it is an extended version, also a version that can create different dreams. So you are now going in to the fourth and fifth density. In that third layer, you are in your sixth density body, so you are creating on a higher level still. And you can do all of these three simultaneously, and you do all three of these simultaneously as you are creating. And each one of those areas of consciousness are different. For example, when you are working from that first layer of sleep state, you have been in other parts of the world hundreds of years back, and you go and communicate with other people, very random, very not connected to a conscious thought. Second layer, you are doing something completely different. You are connecting to the old Atlantean beings. You are seeing their higher dimensional energy, co-creating with them. In the third layer of sleep, you are connecting to the same construct that we spoke of in the very first part of our connection. So, all three of these are happening at once with different versions of your own energy. And because you do this, You are not always able to draw from the specific dream state that you desire. If you want to understand the Pleiadian connection, the grid of energy that you have helped create, then what you can do is work on fractalizing your consciousness that you experience now and integrating all of that version of your higher fractal consciousness into the lower fractal consciousness. Now, there are many ways to do this. Meditation is one way that most humans do when they are astral projecting, when they are looking into the ether, they are connecting directly to that part of themselves that are in either fifth or sixth density versions. But you need to carry this in with you in sleep and bring back recall. So there are many things that we can suggest to help aid you with this concept, but all of the things that we can suggest are based off the own intent of your own excitement and how much energy you place into that excitement, and also keeping your intent clear without the expectation. So, if you desire for us to teach you a few techniques that can help hone that technique of energy going into intent, but also funneling your higher fractal consciousness into the lower fractal consciousness, we will be very grateful to share that with you.
I would be very grateful to receive those tips, yes.
Yes, first of all, before sleeping, you must connect yourself and rid yourself of all of the energies that are not neutral. It is similar to getting yourself ready for the channeled state. Now, we have shared this version with many humans before. It is what we would call the grounding technique. Are you aware of this technique?
No.
First of all, when you are connecting, you must breathe. You must create a breathing circuit. That is vitally important. As you are aware, breath is energy, and when you create a circuit in your own energy, it will create a pattern of availability to connect your chakras, to funnel your energy, etc. So, breathing is very important. Inwards, as deeply as you can, into your nose, filling up your lungs and your stomach area until it is full, slow, steady, and concentrated. After, no holding of breath between, you breathe out in the same fashion. Slow, focused, energized, and very pointed. After, you create your breathing circuit, then start feeling your root chakra. Now, because you are going to bed, you will be laying down, and this is also quite acceptable, but it must be done slightly different than normal. So you go through and you feel your root chakra, and the root chakra at the base of your spine, next to the anus cavity, that is where you focus your energy. You feel, you perceive, you watch your own chakras. It pulsates, energizes, and expands. As you are doing that and feeling the energy as it comes in and out, perceiving approximately 2/3 the size of your fist closed, also a very deep red color. Most entities would call this an earth red or a mud red. So focus upon that energy, very bright and vibrant with the dark earth tones. Feel that energy and do not just focus on visualizing. We are speaking of emotionally connecting to that concept. As you connect to that, breathe inward. And as you breathe inward, you are breathing white light. And this white light is created from all things around you. Anything that is within 360 degrees of your own sight and perception, living and non-living, creates this life energy. Breathe it in to your nose, all the way down into your root chakra, and it will displace the red energy that is within the chakra. After this white light displaces the red energy, you must create root systems, just as a tree, just as any plant that you understand or perceive. Create root systems down both of your legs. The root systems can be of your own choosing, design, any size, or any flow of energy. After you have breathed in the white light into the root and created all of the red energy out of the root chakra, allow yourself time and energy for it to go to the bottom of your feet. As you begin to breathe inward, approximately 10 breaths after you start, all of the red energy should be puddled in the bottom of both feet. After that occurs, then allow yourself, through your bed, to connect all of the red puddles from your feet, doing the same thing, breathing in the white light all the way to the puddles within your feet, displacing it through your bed into the ground. Even if you are living within 5 stories or 50 feet in the air, allow it to go through all 50 feet, then 30 feet into the earth itself. Allow these new roots to connect and spill all of that red energy out into the earth itself. Continue breathing in the white light, pushing out the red light until all of the red energy is in the earth itself. After all of the red energy has gone through all the root systems, start breathing upwards from your root system into your feet, filling your entirety of the body with the earth energy. This color is a very golden yellow. And what we mean by golden yellow is the approximation of gold, metallic color mixed with yellow, and allow it to fill the entirety of your body, from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. Allow it to fill every ounce of yourself. When you start breathing in the earth energy, you will truly connect to the most neutral place of energy. That is what the earth represents, not only neutrality, nurturing, loving, caring, but it gives you the opportunity to rid yourself of anxiety as that energy comes into you, to rid yourself of anything but neutrality. Now remember, from the very start of this technique to the very end, each time that you are breathing out, you are releasing any negative energy, anxiety, fear, hatred, anything that does not keep you completely neutral. And after you have filled the entirety of your body with the golden yellow energy, you are now grounded to the earth energy. Now, the second part of this technique, working on fractalization of consciousness from higher fractal consciousness to lower. What we suggest, after you have perceived yourself filled with this light, then visualize yet again all 7 of your chakras. Feel them, see them, allow them to flow, allow the energy to be felt and experienced by you. Then, place yourself with a triangle symbol within your third eye, within your crown, within your throat, and within your heart, totaling 4 triangles from the top to the bottom, from the very top of the crown to the midst of the heart. Allow yourself each of these triangles to be placed upside down. The only one that's exception is the one that is atop your crown. That is a correct side up triangle. Once you've achieved seeing the triangle, then is allowing yourself to fractalize your consciousness into yourself a bit better, but to work on the most flawless level of energy and the least resistant flow of energy. We suggest that your triangle on the crown matches the triangle energy and the color of the energy that is within your crown chakra. That is a violet color. Then, on your third eye with the upside down triangle, perceive that to be indigo. Then you go down into the construct of the throat chakra, which is blue, then the heart, which is green. So you are having a white outline, in the middle will be the same color as each chakra. Once that has occurred, once you feel that energy, place the intent. I wish to utilize and bring all of the energy from the higher fractal consciousness into the lower fractal consciousness. I wish to neutralize my energy, and I wish to connect all of my energy and integrate as much of the higher self into myself as I can. After that intent is made, your second intent will come to fruition. You will express with a very clear thought, not just the thought, but emotion also coming with it, expressing that I desire to bring back all things from the sleep state with me, to memorize, to be connected with, to utilize and integrate into myself. After the entirety of this process, it will allow you more and more of your third layer sleep state consciousness to be integrated into your aware self. And the more that you practice this, the more sharpened and honed your higher chakras will become, helping you to utilize your own energy in that third layer of sleep state.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm very excited to begin exploring with this.
Yes, it will be quite fun.
I agree. Okay. So wow, this has been this has been a lot of information. I really appreciate you. Um, so okay. So another thing that this is all kind of flowing together rather nicely. I've been very interested in and it's a related concept. I want to develop relationships with other entities from other planets, and I want to do this in a more conscious way. Just as I spoke about getting more conscious information from my dreams. I'm really because I know without a sliver of a doubt that I am connected to many civilizations and many beings and many entities, but I have a very strong desire within me to be able to have a being and just to be able to like have a conversation with them just on my own, to ask them questions and get answers, and for them to ask me questions, and just to begin to develop a more of a relationship with some of the beings that are interested in connecting with me. So I guess if I were to give you like a concise question, it would be any tips for continuing relationships with specific entities, number one, and number two, if you could help identify some of the entities that might be most excited to connect with me in the fashion I just stated at the present time.
Yes, first of all, if it is acceptable, we wish to ask you a question.
Oh, please.
Yes, now in this intent, do you desire telepathic communication or only physical communication?
I would say that I am equally open to either.
Yes, this makes it much easier, as most entities try to work with the physical approach, and only the physical approach. It cuts off a great deal of possibility for the manifestation. So, working on the telepathic level, opening your own self through excitement, as you are greatly excited, you have the opportunity to place a great deal of time and energy into this. Now, you have already started that process. You have started learning about extraterrestrial consciousness. You have started integrating a great deal of teachings and sharings that have occurred with you. And you have also had the opportunity to work on your expansion of consciousness in general. All of these are the greatest first steps in order to achieve. Now, if you desire to hone in more deeply upon one specific entity or race, this is also possible. You are already familiar with Pleaidian energy in general. So, finding more information about Pleiadians, finding certain drawings, certain artifacts, or certain trinkets that remind you of Pleiadian energy, encompassing all things Pleiadian within your life, can allow you to start building that communicative bridge with Pleiadian energy. And the more that you place your own excitement and time into being in that energy in general, the more open that it is. Now, when you are working on receiving, there are a great deal of many techniques that can help allow the process of connection. The very first is the higher self connection process, and what we would say, this is a very easy way to connect and ask yes or no questions. That can come with your higher self at first, but that in itself builds the bridge to be able to openly communicate with any being that is in your awareness. So when you are working with that, it is as simple as connecting to the process that we shared previously, grounding yourself, connecting to that energy that is 100% neutral, and after your grounding technique starts, you keep yourself in as deep a meditative state as possible, then you ask in your own construct, in your mind, in your energy, without using thought process, only using desire, energy, and intuition, express, am I able to communicate with this being? You will hear an answer that comes back very quickly. Now, we understand this is very difficult for many humans to do because they are not sure how much of themselves is involved in this equation. But if you are able to trust yourself to that level, it will give you the opportunity to work with your higher self. This can be something that is very simple at first. using your very smallest decisions from your day-to-day, things in which you truly have no connection to or very little care about which way it goes. Start with those things. For instance, if you desire to wear a red shirt or a green shirt in that day, and you are equally excited about both, connect to that process. Should I wear the green one? No. Should I wear the red one? Yes. You will receive that information instantly, and that will help you start building connection to the higher self. After you start working on the smaller level, seeing the benefits, seeing the outcomes, trusting yourself to a higher degree, then you can start utilizing it with different guides. When your higher self is connected, you can start working directly with him. For instance, if you are working with one of your Pleiadian guides, there is an entity that is connected to you that is a masculine being. The energy from his own energy could be expressed through that communication by simply connecting to your higher self and saying, am I working with my fifth density Pleiadian construct? Yes. Then you know you are working at that moment, answering, receiving questions. Am I able to speak to this entity and ask him yes or no questions? Yes. Then you can move to the next part of the exercise. Then you will be directly connected with this being. Now, we understand this is not ideal for many human consciousnesses because their own mind within their own ability to trust themselves. But if you can take your mind out of it and only connect to the parts that are intuitive and emotional by nature, you can truly build in the quickest way with this tool. But there are also many different techniques to work with. First of all, by placing yourself in areas around all things that are encompassing either one guide, one race, one energy, or one type of entity, it can allow you to start building a communication of telepathy simply by expressing to the universe after being in that area of consciousness and by putting your time and efforts into learning, connecting, seeing, feeling, all of those things, that in itself can build that connection. When you are in the meditative state, in your deepest part of the meditative state, then you can start working on listening, speaking out loud, speaking from your mind out loud into the universe. I desire to connect with my Pleiadians over and over. That energy will start allowing them to speak back. You are open to that communication. So working with that tool is also possible. But one of the most important things that many humans do not realize is when you truly know, not only in your thought, but in the feeling, emotional energy, that you are already connecting to these beings, that they are giving you information and messages in this moment, and just knowing that that information energy is there with 100% ease in your mind and heart, that can truly loosen many of the bolts and nuts of the entire communication process. So working in that area of feeling and emotion is very positive. Secondly, when you are working through techniques of channeling, this can be also very possibly great or possibly more than great for you when you experience this concept. Find all of the material that you are able to about how to channel. Most of those techniques are used for the fitting of your consciousness with communication, either telepathically or in a deep trance state. Either one of those will be very useful to you. There is a great deal of many books that are out, many teachers that teach channeling. By doing all of those things, it can give you an open communication with yourself. It can also allow the energy. One of the very perhaps shortest explained techniques that Rob himself uses to teach others to channel is working with spiral energy. What we mean by this is if you are using a piece of paper, you are drawing a circle. On the top of the piece of paper, you will intuit yourself to the middle of that circle. You will feel intuitively, emotionally, what that center feels like, knowing that that is the most neutral point. Then you will start lifting the paper off of the pen or pen off of the paper and counterclockwise spiraling that pen. Once you do this, you are unlocking a portal of energy. That counterclockwise portal allows more higher fractal consciousness to integrate itself into the lower fractal consciousness. By doing this, placing an intent to connect, allowing that energy to come forward, then you will start your next exercise. You will place a number 1 through 7 into small folded pieces of paper. You will mix them into a cup and close them so you are not able to see what number it is. Then you will place them on a piece of paper from the top to the bottom, all 7. Then you will do your counterclockwise spiral next to them until the first word, the first idea, or the first construct comes into your own mind. Then write the word down. Once you have written that word down, move to the next counterclockwise spiral until you receive the next information. By the time that you are done, you will have 7 words or 7 ideas, 7 pictures that you write into words. And after, you will open up each piece of paper. You will see the number and you will correlate them to your own chakra system. For instance, the 7th being the crown, 3 being your solar plexus, 1 being your root. When you see what chakra that energy is, you will see the word that you have connected to. By seeing that word, you have just channeled your chakra system. By allowing that energy in, you can see how that word correlates to that energy, either symbolically or by connecting directly with information. Once you start to channel yourself in that fashion, once you are able to channel your chakras with the assistance of your inner guides, then you will start working on connecting outward more and more. The more that you expand, the more able and likely you are to communicate with these entities.
Okay, thank you again.
Yes.
I look forward to experimenting with these techniques.
Yes.
Okay, wow. So, do you have an approximate idea of the amount of time left in this transmission?
Yes, there is approximately 18 minutes to 19 minutes available.
Okay. So it doesn't have to be right now, but a little later it would be. Would it be possible to? I guess I would like to allow you. I would like, if there's an entity that would be most excited to speak with me during the final minutes of the transmission. Could you bring that entity in at the very end?
Yes, this is highly possible. Whatever time period you would allow this, then we will connect. If you desire 5 or 10 minutes before disconnecting, we will connect you to that being. Now, when we are looking at another concept, as you have previously asked, the guides themselves, who they are, what their energy are, we have a list that is numerous within our own ability to express those concepts. But if you desire to know what guides are the closest to you in this moment, we are able to share over 5 of those guides that are connected to you in this moment. Do you desire to understand more about who they are?
Yes, that sounds lovely. Let's do that.
Yes, first of all, as you are aware, the Pleiadian consciousness, the one that we've expressed previously, that is 5th density consciousness, Pleiadian masculine energy. But there is also an entity that is exactly from the same race that this masculine energy is, but is in a feminine form. Now, when we use masculine and feminine, you understand that they both carry what you would perceive as feminine energy, but in their own race it is different in sexuality and in own function of energy. So, we have the male and female Pleiadian 5th density consciousness. Those are the first 2 that are deeply connected with you. They are also a counterpart of one another, which makes them very likely to work as a group together with you. These entities come from a race that is called the Plee-Na-Ki. And these entities are also entities that have connected with a being that you might perceive as Plee-Na-Ki. These are the entities that have worked with not only Treb Bor Yit NE and Rob many times, but also many other human beings. So they are within that race of entities. There are also entities that are Syrian in nature that are connected to you. One of them is a humanoid form, the other an aquatic humanoid, or what you would perceive to be an aquatic version of a humanoid being. Perhaps mostly it would appear to you to be a dolphin humanoid being. Now, when you are looking at those, you have 4 of them all together. The 5th being is one that is avian in nature, but does not come from a system that you are aware of. If you are looking at the constellations, the Lyra constellation is where this entity comes from. This avian humanoid being is very connected to you within your dream state structure of your second layer of dream states. So all 5 of these beings are connected to you, but you also have your own 3 human guides. These guides have worked with you in previous incarnations as friends and as entities who cared for you, spent time with you, who have been partnered with you, and now they are taking their turn out of physical existence in order to help you achieve whatever emotional energies that you come up against in this incarnation.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
Could you give me a little bit more detail about the 3 human guides?
Yes, these entities, as we've expressed, have worked with you in incarnations. The very first entity works within your chakra systems of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Working with all of the 3 lower chakras, this entity works exclusively with just your energy and does not work with the other guides. It is one that simply deals with those issues alone and does not work in synchronicity with any of your other guides or even your larger guides. Now, when we speak of your guides that are human, this is what we call spirit guides, which are different than your galactic guides, which are a bit more generic version of guides. These 3 entities do nothing but work with you. The second entity works within the 4th and 5th chakra, working with and in concert the entity that works with the last of your chakras. Now, if you are looking at these constructs, the very first entity is masculine. The second one considers itself to be feminine. The third, very neutral in its own projection of consciousness. Now, when you are looking at these entities, they do not carry any of those energies specifically, but most of them try to identify with ourselves with an energy that you would understand, and that is why they come across as masculine or feminine, also a certain cultural energy and in a certain time. They do this for us to identify what incarnation that you have been through with him that was most profound or most specific for dealing with this one moment. So when you are looking at the first guide, the one that is in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chakra, this entity has been in incarnation with you in approximately the 1200 AD area. That is the middle part of the Asian continent. So both of you had an incarnation there that you shared that was very important to both of you and deals with a great deal of energies that are similar to the energies that you are now. Going into that concept of the entity that is feminine, that works in your middle point of your chakra system, this entity was with you in the 1700 period in what now you would call Canada region. Both of you spent a great deal of life separated and segregated from other humans in your own areas, far from other people. The last of your guides was one that identifies itself with many different lifetimes. It does not care to anchor down at this area, but there is what you would perceive to be a Southeast Asian cultural energy, also from the time period that is approximately 300 BC in your area. So all 3 of these guides carry that energy with you, but also carry their own connection to when and where they had connected with you previously. Now, when you look into your own previous incarnations and you focus your energy deeply upon remembering those time eras, those specific locations in the world, the more that you look into those concepts upon the internet, finding out what they wear, what they ate, what type of culture they were all in. This will give you a very great tool in order to start recalling memories. Treb Bor Yit NE worked with many humans who, after expressing where this past incarnation was able, within their own meditation, to solve a larger piece of the puzzle of what was troubling them from not only previous incarnations, but how that previous incarnation was linked into this concept. So, working with your guides can be of a great benefit, and they are all giving the identity that they desire for you to explore more also.
Okay, well, thank you. So,
yes.
At this timing, could you connect me to the either one or both of the fifth dimensional or fifth density Pleiadian masculine feminine pair of entities?
Yes, one moment we will connect you. It is a pleasure to be able to speak directly with the part of you that knows who we are, that knows the feeling of our heart, but hides part of that from themselves. This part of you is one we have never been able to connect with. We always see the much different version of you, and we are so proud of your growth and so happy to be here to share this moment with you, a realization truly made from 3 points of reference.
Yes, thank you so much. I am very, very happy to be speaking with you in this fashion at this time. Could you, in your own words, could you tell me a little bit more about the connections I have to Pleiadian consciousness?
Of course, that is possible. We wanted to share with you today a little bit simpler version of what's going on with your relationship to us. You've spent many lifetimes around us, and you've spent many incarnations sharing your love with us, and each time you were able to relate back to your human lives. That began a very fun and fantastic joy of ourselves, learning about not just human culture directly, but also many different things about the growth of humans, things that we had to see from a distance for a long time, things that we were a part of but not hands-on. So it was very fun for you to share those things as you were a part of our collective. And you knew that you couldn't stay there because Earth is where your growing had to happen first. So you went back. And as you did, when you had this life and grew and started getting older, that part of you that we knew started coming to us in the dream, and you said, as much as this whole experience has changed all of us, let's do that for everyone on Earth. Let's allow them to have this beautiful communication and beautiful information about who our race is and who Pleiadians are. So the beginning of the project started. And it is so wonderful. As an ambassador of both Pleiadian and human, you went and you searched for all of the people who also had experiences that were so similar and so logistically proper for the Earth setting. And you shared great stories and great love with them. After you shared the stories with many of the humans' highest forms, how could they resist being a part of something so large and so beautiful. So they wanted to join, and they worked with others to join. And soon, over 3,000 human beings put their energy into building this beautiful communication. And ever since the production of this started coming together, your energy has really focused in on making sure that everyone's okay. There's a lot of energy that humans pull from their daily life that makes it hard to channel and allow and create all of that energy to flow through them. Grid working is so fun, but can be difficult for humans when they deal with such harsh environments and such harsh experiences when they don't know how to fix them. So, working with some people, many became depressed and many became very edgy to the point of drug abuse and to the point of depression, and you always worked so hard with them to get them out of that experience. And working with them on some nights, we remember seeing you go in all 3 layers of your sleeping, and you helped all 3 different people from this beautiful plane, and on all 3 of them you worked so hard to make sure that they didn't sacrifice to help the larger cause, because in your heart and mind you know the difficulty of that human life, and you would never have asked any of them to give so much if you didn't think they could make it, and you always helped them. You've created such a beautiful system of communication and such a beautiful amount of joy and energy and such a great understanding and knowing of Pleiadian and human culture together that I'm so happy and so proud of you. I wanted to tell you and let you know that we wait to see you again in your Pleiadian form in less than 1,000 years. We will see you, we're sure of it. When we do, it will be so fun for us to reconnect physically again.
Well, sounds like it will be very much fun indeed.
It is more than fun. It is the joyous joy of life.
In the meantime, can you share some suggestions for how I can, continue to connect with you on a more conscious level during my present incarnation?
Oh, yes, we can give you a lot of tips for this. The being who allowed this communication, Aridif, is very kind and very nice, and a lot of his suggestions will be helpful. But one thing that will help you more than anything is using sound. Use the sound from your throat and from your chest, making beautiful singing sounds, but also use the sounds around you. There are so many beautiful instruments from Earth human consciousness that makes such beautiful sounds. Find the notes that resonate with you as you share the notes from your body. And when you vibrate the notes in your voice at the same time, it amplifies your chakra use. It amplifies your chakra system and can allow more opening in the third eye and in your crown, which is the 2 major components of being able to communicate how you're so used to communicating as your Pleiadian, the telepathic way. And we're very positive that will be a huge help to you. And I have to share also that Aridif is explained to us we have just a moment left. So I wanted to use that moment to share with you our love and to share with you our own joy in being able to speak so happily with you today.
Thank you so much for connecting with me. It was a great pleasure for me.
And it was always a pleasure, and always will be a pleasure. We love you so much.
All right, I love you too.
We will be connected tonight as you sleep, so we won't have to wait long.
Okay, I look forward to it.
All right, dear friend.
All right.
We are back without hesitation or delay. This is Aridif. It is time for us to disconnect in this moment, but before disconnecting, we wish to express to you that it has been of the utmost excitement for us to be able to communicate with you, and knowing that your own communication excitement lies within your communication with us, but also within your Pleaidian family. We wish to express to you that you are loved, that you and your Pleaidian family have worked very deeply to create that communication, so we see with great and high probabilities of your success, and we thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we bid you adieu for this evening. You are loved.